Hi everyone. Today in my farmhouse kitchen we're going to be making some brown bread, or wheaten bread as we call it, and it's made with a lovely coarse ground wholemeal flour. What I'm doing today is I'm making the bread on a griddle. However, if you don't have a griddle, can use a frying pan, anything with a good source of heat beneath it. You can also make this recipe in your baking tin and put it in the oven, but you just need to stick more rigidly to your quantities because you don't want it spilling out all over the oven. Whereas with the griddle breads, when I make it in farls, it's much easier because it doesn't matter how much I use. So here are the farls, okay, and they're lovely and crunchy. I've just made these now and I'm just setting them there on the cooling tray to give them a few minutes to kind of come together. So for this recipe, really very simple. I know I say that most of the time, but this is really simple. So here we have our coarse ground wholemeal flour, right? So you can get this fine ground and medium, but we want coarse because it will give us a little bit more texture. So I'm taking a good big scoop of coarse ground wholemeal flour, okay? We've got our soda bread flour, so that's your flour with the baking soda already in it. You can, if you don't have soda bread flour at home, you can use plain flour and add baking soda to it, and that'll be in the recipe. So I'm having a smaller handful of that, okay? I'm giving this mixture a bit of a helping hand with a little bit of baking soda, even though that's already in the flour. It's just a heavier dough, so we're giving it a helping hand really. And then I'm adding a little bit of sweetness. So I'm adding about 2 good heaped tablespoonfuls of castor sugar. You could, if you wanted to, just add honey to your buttermilk and mix it together, and that would be obviously a better form of sweetness to it. Or indeed, you could actually leave out the castor sugar or the sweetness totally. But I just think it's lovely with a bit of sweetness to it. Even if you're having it as part of your lunch with cheese and so on, I still think it adds to the taste. So I have my 4 ingredients in the bowl: my coarse ground wholemeal flour, my soda bread flour, my castor sugar and my baking soda, and I'm just going to mix them all together, okay? So just introduce a little bit of air, okay, and just 3 or 4 times, really till you've got them nicely amalgamated, okay? And that's how easy it is. So here we have our buttermilk, and I'm adding buttermilk to the mixture. Again, as with your soda bread, be nice and light with your mixture, okay? We're not trying to beat the life out of this. We're not working it as we do the likes of a yeast bread. We're just being nice and light as much as we can with it. And I'm going to put in enough buttermilk there till I get kind of, again, like a porridge-like consistency. It's actually very similar to what we do for the soda bread. But you'll find that this dough comes together so beautifully and so easily. Now, I've mixed that together, and actually I think I've made it a little bit too wet. So what I'm going to do is just take a little bit more of my coarse ground wholemeal flour and mix it in, okay? And then again, nice and lightly, bring it all together. And then this is where I think you can add a little bit of extra crunch to it. So rather than putting the plain flour or your soda bread flour on the table, put out liberally sprinkle your wholemeal flour, and then what I do is I actually add some sesame seeds to that, okay? And you know, when you roll the dough out in your wholemeal flour and your sesame seeds, it just gives it a lovely texture. It definitely adds to the crunch. Now, you don't have to use sesame seeds, and in actual fact you could use pumpkin seeds or some other seeds, but I just like the sesame seeds. So I'm sprinkling over it a little bit of flour. As you can see, it's kind of quite a wettish mixture. And what I'm doing is I'm just coating it nicely in the flour, bringing it all together, okay, really very easily, okay, and then tucking my hands in below it. Make sure you have plenty of flour here because this will get sticky quite quickly, okay, and it will stick to the table. And then just pat it out with your hand, and don't be scared to pat it out a good bit because it will rise when you put it on the griddle, okay? And then literally just take your knife, moving your knife backwards like this, And again, coat your knife in a little bit of flour so it doesn't stick and tear. And then just separate your cake of dough into 4 farls. Okay? And a farl is actually an Ulster Scots term, and it means 1 of 4 or a quarter. Okay? So again, separate those. Get plenty of flour in your knife. Okay, and the same for this side. And then once you've done that, don't waste any time in picking them up. Get a bit of flour in your egg lifter. Up with your first farl. Okay, shake it a little bit in your hand to take the excess flour off it, and on it goes onto the griddle. Okay, and when you put it on your griddle, that's when you can take your knife and kind of neaten it up a little bit. Okay, so again, just setting it on the griddle there. Okay, on the next one. Okay, and actually, I can at that stage, we'll move these around a wee. I can at that stage then just neaten these up a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna put that one there. Okay, so at this stage, I'll take my knife and I'll just kind of neaten the sides of it. Okay, and what I'll do is I'll leave it on the griddle for about 4 or 5 minutes until it's a nice golden brown colour and well cooked. I like it well cooked. Then turn it over, and then once you've done both sides for about 4 minutes or so each, you want to then do what we call harning the bread. And harning the bread's where you're just kind of finishing it off on the 3 sides and really kind of, if you like, sealing it so that it's cooked right through. And then just set it out on your cutting tray, give it about 5 minutes or so, and then cut it open with a barbed edge knife if you can, because an ordinary unserrated knife will kind of tear the dough. And just cover it in delicious Abernethy butter and jam. Thanks very much, guys. Enjoy your wheaten bread. Let us know how you get on.